que me agrada. Merch. Hey guys, I just wanted to come on here, and this is a new face for you all to see. Some of you all have asked me to film a kind of get ready with me makeup tutorial kind of thing. I don't know why I'm doing this, but anyway, a lot of you all have asked me to give you a makeup tutorial. And when I mean a whole lot of you all, I mean probably about 20 of you all. And because I like makeup tutorials, I love makeup tutorials. I love watching them. It's very therapeutic to me. There's like a series on YouTube. It's called Get Ready With Me. And basically you literally just watch people put their makeup on. And they chit chat and they talk to you. And I figured, I'm still a little hoarse on my throat, so I have my trusty water here with me. So I am going to be in and out on my voice. I apologize. So I'm going to be getting ready with you. I'm going to be telling you what I'm doing and what I'm using. If you like makeup, awesome. If you don't, then you could just listen to what I'm saying. If you all don't wear makeup and you don't care for makeup, that's fine. That's your choice, and that's awesome. And I know a lot of people say, Abby, you don't need makeup, you're so beautiful and you're so naturally beautiful. I appreciate that, but I for one love wearing makeup, and at the end of the day it washes off. However, I love wearing makeup, and I never used to be this person that used to wear a lot of makeup. However, look, I have been getting so dry. I don't know if it's because of my old age, but I have been using so much moisturizer, which is crazy because I'm oily, super oily. And disclaimer, I am not a makeup artist. What I do is stuff I have learned and stuff I have taught myself and stuff that I've been practicing, and that's it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So what I do, don't come for me, you people that do makeup, don't come for me. What I just put on my face right now is vitamin E. I'll put what I'm using on the side, on the screen. You know the drill. You know the drill. But it's De La Cruz Vitamin E Cream. It has done wonders. I love this. If you can hear stuff moving, it's my puppy. She's a puppy. Her name is Ryla, and she drives me crazy. She is a bad dog. She was just in the restroom chewing up toilet paper. I had to spank her. This has done wonders for my skin. Really has. I've been really dry lately, like I said, and like on some spots, like right here on my T-zone, I'm always oily. Like you can fry an egg on my forehead at the end of the day, but I have stuff to like do oil control throughout the day. I have like dry spots like right here on my chin. I have dry spots in there right here on my eyelids. I have dry spots, so it's just a weird situation that's going on. Okay, so after I do that and just kind of let it go everywhere, I go ahead and my hair is wet. Guys, this is how I get ready. I take a shower, put my hair up, get it out my face. All right, I'm a bad picker. I pick up my face. I know that it's not good at all. Like I said, I'll tell you what I'm doing if I remember. Guys, some of y'all have been asking me how I do my makeup. You love my highlight, you love my lipstick in the videos, which is super awesome, and I think that's really great that you all care and y'all give me comments on my makeup. Makes me feel good because, you know, I dabble in makeup. But I also put this Skin Tune Blur. It's from for Souly, and I just started doing this, and this has really helped my oil control. So I mainly put it again on my forehead because I have greasy forehead, and on my cheeks and on my nose because I'm greasy right there. And I just pat it in. Anyway, so today is a big deal. Today we are going to go see my brother. And a lot of you that know me, that watch me and Mama Luna, know about my brother. I have two brothers. And one of my brothers is actually, and I'm going to really try to not get emotional, but, excuse me, my voice. One of my brothers is actually in the, is part of the state. And whenever I say that, he is, he has been in the state's care for his whole life. And whenever I say that, I say this with caution. My brother, he has always lived in the state, and he has cerebral palsy, and he also has, I know this looks really white and pale for my skin, but this oxidizes, like whenever I say oxidizes, it gets darker whenever it hits oxygen. Does that make sense? And it hits my skin and I bronze, and again, y'all don't come at me. Anyway, so his name's Gaspard, my brother, and he was, I know this is gonna sound really terrible, and for people that, and I want to say this with caution, but when I say this, people that have this similarity or have this in common with me and my family, he was a family secret for the longest time, and he became a family secret because a lot of my family didn't want to talk about him and basically what happened. So whenever my biological father and my mother were together, they had my brother, my older brother, Richard, and they had Gaspard. So it's my brother, Richard, then my brother, Gaspard. And it's hard for me to talk about it because I don't want to cry. And also it's such a family secret. I don't want to get everything out of order, because he means so much to me now, and we haven't seen him in a while, and he doesn't know what's going on. Let me just tell y'all that my brother is mentally handicapped in a chair, and it's so sad that he doesn't know what's going on, but it's almost like a gift because, ooh, don't cry, Abby. It's almost like a gift because if he knew what was going on, if he had the lifestyle of being in a wheelchair, and my mom and my dad didn't have the capable funds, because my mom and my biological father, he wasn't there. My biological dad was not there. He was in and out of our lives. He was physically abusive to my mother. He he was a great guy whenever he wanted to be. I have mixed stories about him. My sister and my brother tell me different stories and so does my mom. My mom tells me different things about him, and it's really hard to kind of grasp all those because he was a great guy whenever alcohol and drugs didn't overwhelm his life. And unfortunately, he chose alcohol and drugs. Unfortunately, too, my mom chose my dad was her drug. And we talk about that, and we've been very transparent. It's not like I'm saying this and it's a secret. Her choice of drug was Joel. Her choice of drug was choosing Joel over and over again, and choosing to take him back one more time, and allowing him to abuse her, and allowing him to use her, and treat her badly. And so anyway, just to kind of give y'all a backstory, my brother, which they thought was, he was born healthy, and I want to say about 6 months, 6 or 9 months, I want to say. And this is stories that I've heard over time from my aunt and my mom, from what they would tell me. You didn't ask. You didn't really talk about it too much because it was, again, a family secret. And I hate saying that, but you really didn't talk about it too much because it was a very sensitive subject. And my mom barely could take care of my brother. And my brother was being taken care of by my grandma. And my mom was in such a toxic relationship with my biological father. And she just could barely do that. So anyway, okay, so now I'm using setting powder. Sorry guys, I'm all over the place. I'm going to set my face. So this is pretty tacky. It's matte, but it's pretty tacky. So all I use is, right now I'm in between Patrick Star, that my best friend bought me for my birthday, and Thrive Cosmetics. I am loving Thrive Cosmetics. Patrick Star is amazing. However, I have noticed that because I have been getting those dry parts right here on my eyes, it has been clinging to it so much that I have been using my Thrive Cosmetics because it has not been clinging to it. So until those dry parts go away, I'm using my Thrive Cosmetics. So going back to my brother, Gaspard. His name is Joel. So he's named after my biological father. We call him Gaspard. And it's Casper in English. But I call him Gasper. So if you hear me calling him Gasper or Gaspard in any of the videos, it's because I don't like calling him by my biological father's name. So there's that. From what I know is he was about 9 months old, and I think my aunt has a picture, and I'm gonna try to post his baby picture. And what they noticed is that he was, like most babies around the 9-month age, are able to, sit up and kind of sit up by themselves or keep their heads up. And my brother was not able to do that. And my mother, being the woman that did not know back then, because they grew up very poor, and you've seen in the videos before that my mother and my grandmother and all of them, they did not come up from a wealthy family. They grew up very poor. They grew up from working from farmhouses to cotton fields, things like that. So back then, welfare and the government and state funding was not an option. And if it was an option, it was something that they didn't know how to seek after. So what they did know, and unfortunately what did happen, is kids or mentally handicapped kids to the state. So that is what happened. And unfortunately, what was forced upon my mom, and kind of, I don't know if it was forced, and this is something that is a touchy subject. This is why I'm hesitant to talk about it. One person in my family says it wasn't forced. One person in my family says it was forced. And that's basically what it boils down to, why it became such a family secret. That my mom was forced to give up my brother. And it was hard. I couldn't imagine giving up my kid, Isaiah, to the state, because I couldn't afford giving him the care that he needed. Because my brother has to be in a wheelchair. He has to be physically fed through like the nutritions that he has to be given, has to be grounded up. Everything, his pills, everything has to be liquefied. So my mom didn't have the capabilities or the ability to do that. So it was very hard and tough, and it's, again, that's why I say it's such a touchy subject whenever we talk about it. And I wanted to give you all some insight, and I didn't know more or less how to do that. And again, y'all all have been, not all of y'all, I need to calm down. Some of you all have been asking me, again, how I do my makeup, and have been curious. And again, I thank y'all for being so curious, because I love to watch people do their makeup and hear them talk. And I can't zoom y'all in, and I don't have fancy gear again. I apologize for being so discombobulated right now. But when I talk about my brother, I get really sensitive. I think about our relationship, how it would be. I think about if he and I'd be close, because I don't know, do not cry, Abby. I think about him and how his personality would be. He can't talk. Whenever he gets nervous, because we go visit him, he'll do this. He'll go, he'll just blow bubbles, and he'll go, and it's so cute, and it's the most adorable thing ever, because he's like, what are y'all people doing here? Don't touch him. He doesn't like to be touched at all, which is hilarious, because my sister Crystal doesn't like to be touched, and she's not a girl that likes to be touched. And I think that's funny. So anyway, I'm using a bronzer. Remember I told you I was going to bronze up my skin. And what I like to do is, there's some people that like to use a really like shimmery bronzer. And this doesn't have any shimmer to it whatsoever. And I use a lot of different bronzers. But what I'm liking right now for my skin tone, because I don't have a tan right now, because it is winter, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm so fancy. But I ordered the Sultry palette not too long ago. Was it the Sultry palette? I don't know what kind of palette it is. I don't even know where it's at. This is just a dense brush. And I got these from Michael's. These are the best brushes I have purchased. And I got them for like $9. Guys, you don't have to spend a fortune on everything. So I blend to the gods, okay? You have seen me. I've been here literally for like 10 minutes blending and blending. So my trick is light hand, blend and blend and blend, okay? And dip in, dust off. Dip in, dust off, okay? Okay, now back to my brother. So, a couple of things happen whenever we go visit my brother. He gets nervous. We try to make him feel comfortable as possible, because he doesn't really like to be touched. He cannot talk. He doesn't really know what's happening or what's going on, and he can't communicate. But once he realizes that we're there, he gets comfortable, and I feel like he actually remembers us. And I show him pictures of us in the past whenever we were there. And I think that actually helps him. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's something that is, it's true. Like if it actually does help him. But in my head, that's something that I think happens. But I absolutely love the workers that help him and that are there, and they're angels. People that work in the state, people that work in the nursing field and are just there for him, or in any kind of field that care for somebody else, they're freaking angels. And I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't. And we're gonna make Rice Krispie treats for them and bless them with them, because it's just the little things, it's the little things just to give to them and just show our appreciation, because we haven't seen my brother in a while, and there's no excuse. It's just life just gets in the way, and it's probably been since the summer we haven't seen him. So we really need to just take the time to go see him, and yeah, just spend time with him and just show him that we love him and we care about him. And it's been far too long. Back to the get ready with me, guys. What I just did is I just used a kind of fluffy brush, and I just highlighted the high points of my cheeks. And I used the Anastasia Beverly Hills. Girl, I have never been an Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's only the eyebrows, and then those are too expensive, and there's not a lot of product in it, and I just stopped messing with it. However, the Amrezy, I follow her on Instagram, and the highlight is amazing. I don't know if you can see. Can you see it? It's so beautiful. She's beautiful. She's a little crusty, but she's beautiful. I used to use blush so much. Like, I was a blushed biatch. But yeah, I used to use blush all the time. However, I stopped using it, and all I use is just the bronzer and highlight now. I don't know. Like I said, I just change it up sometimes. So now I'm going to do my brows, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what my family thinks happened to my brother. And what I use is the NYX. People call it the NYX. Some people call it NYX. I call it NYX. But all I do is I brush my brows up. And this is the Espresso in 07. What my family thinks happened to my brother. This is a touchy subject, and why it was such a family secret. My biological father was a very abusive man. Not abusive whenever he was sober. He was very abusive whenever he drank alcohol. And again, I don't have a relationship with this man. I choose not to have a relationship with him. And he's chosen not to have a relationship with me ever since I was a baby. And that was his choice. It's been his choice. So I don't have a relationship with him. And anyway, I always laugh and always make jokes and stuff that I always have daddy issues, but it really goes deep down, and I've forgiven the man. it really does suck sometimes that I do get emotional whenever I talk about him. But it does stink that whenever I talk about him, I get emotional. I don't know why. Because I have forgiven him. It just still hurts so much. So, a lot of my family and my mom has said this before. A lot of my family thinks that because whenever my mom was pregnant with my brother, Gaspard, one time, my biological dad, Joel, actually got really violent with her and threw her down on the floor on her belly, and she fell on her belly, and of course that may have caused Gaspard's head injuries, and have, you know, caused any of the trauma that, you know, happened in his head, and may have caused any of his disabilities. Sorry. Guys, it's really hard talking and doing my brows. So with that being said, that's why a lot of my family kept Gaspard a family secret, and like just never discussed it, because, you know, it was kind of hard to talk about because my mom stayed with Joel for so long, or it was kind of like my mom's decision to stay with Joel, even though she knew he was violent and he still abused her and still did that stuff to her. And you know what, I talk to my mom, and I would talk to her about like her choice of staying with him, even though he would do that to her, and he would like physically abuse her, because, you know, out of curiosity, I would just be like, why? Because okay, after I do my brows, I like to go in with my setting powder and just a little bit, I like to dab on a little bit of the setting powder onto the inner part of my brows, because they won't be so harsh. And then I go in with the actual spoolie, and then just ever so lightly go over them, just so they don't have harsh lines. And a lot of you all have been giving me compliments ever since I have been doing this. So that's just my technique. Nothing special, just going back and forth, and that's it. So anyway, yeah, basically that is one thing that could have been the cause of my brother's mental handicap and disability. So we really do not know. So whenever I was younger, we never talked about it as a family when we started talking about it. So before I get into any more of this conversation, I'm going to use my Patrick Star. Again, my bestie bought this for me. I'm going to be using Patrick Star on my lids. This is the Christmas Patrick Star Christmas. It's Oh Holy Eyes. See what you did there, Patrick? So funny. Colors are gorgeous. The colors are me in every single way. And yeah, y'all just can watch what I'm doing. Again, guys, I'm sorry if I'm all discombobulated while I'm talking about this, because it's such a touchy subject, and I try to be very careful and cautious whenever I'm talking about this, because my family hasn't been very open about this, and I don't want to speak about it and not say the truth, or not be very sensitive about my mom's feelings, because it's hard. Whenever I talk to her about it, she's very open about it now, because I think she's had time to heal and forgive herself, because I know she blamed herself for the longest time. And I know that she blamed herself because I feel like she felt that she gave up on Gaspard. And I don't think that's the case. I think that she was forced into giving up my brother. And I say that because she didn't have the support. She didn't have the financial means to do that, to take care of my brother. Again, she could barely afford to take care of my brother Richard. And she was incapable of doing it. And whenever her sister and my grandma got involved and were like, you know what, like, you can't take care of him. You have to give him up to the state. And she knew that they were right, but in a sense, that's your child. Like, how can you just give up on your child? And for the longest time, she had guilt, and she just didn't want to live like that, and she just didn't talk about it. So whenever people try to talk about it with her, it was just very hush hush. You just didn't talk about it. You didn't talk about Gaspard. You didn't bring it up. You did not talk about Gaspard. And it sucks that things like that. And I don't know if there's a lot of people like us that have family secrets or skeletons in the closet. And again, it sucks that my brother is a skeleton in the closet. And I know that freaking sucks. I mean, it's harsh to say like that, those words, like, but that's exactly how it was. And that's how it felt when growing up as a child. That's how it felt. So basically growing up, that's what it was. And whenever I was, I want to say 21. I was 21. I had Isaiah. He was about a year old. My mom and I were just sitting there, and I began to ask her questions about Gaspard, and which was very bold of me, because again, I grew up, and this has a little bit of fallout, guys. So, but it's such a beautiful, beautiful palette. Okay, so I grew up very, I grew up very scared of my mom. I respected my mom, but I was also afraid that she was just gonna backhand me and give me a bloody lip, because she was just the standard Mexican mama that you just didn't mess with her. And I was scared of her. Okay, so I'm a 21-year-old woman, about almost 22, and I was curious about my brother. We've never ever spoke about my brother. And if we spoke about my brother, it was really short, and we talked about him in almost like a memory, like if he was passed, and he wasn't. He was in the state. And what was crazy is that he lived a hour and a half away from where we lived. That's the crazy part. So, long story short, I asked her about him, and I became very inquisitive. And I asked her if she loved him, and she started weeping. And she said, of course, and I vividly remember this because she asked me, of course I love him. He's my son. Of course, like, how could you ask me that? And I said, if you love him, why do you not make an effort to go see him? And she just looked at me and she goes, I have no excuse. And I just looked at her. I said, well, let's go see him. And she goes, she just looks at me and she's like, let's go. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm still alive, and like I don't have a busted lip. And yeah, I can't believe it. Like, it's crazy. So I asked her about it, and she, she openly, expressed herself, and she was crying, and it was emotional, and it was crazy that she even like opened up to me about him. And of course she loved him, and of course she was just like, of course I love him, of course I love my son. Of course I think about him. And it's one of those uncomfortable conversations. And I say this a whole lot too whenever I was a manager. And what's crazy about it is when you have uncomfortable conversations and both recipients are willing to talk about it, are open about having these conversations. As long as they're open, as long as they are willing to talk about it or whatever the situation is, and say you have to have an uncomfortable conversation about, I don't know, something that's bothering you or something that's been making you feel some type of way. As long as you're both receptive, those uncomfortable conversations usually come out amazing. They 100% come out amazing. And I was holding Isaiah, and I was just like, just thinking about how a mother's love, I don't know, I just grew some cojones and was like, you know what? Why do you not have a relationship with Gaspar? Why do you not talk about him? Why do you not go visit him? And it's because nobody ever, not forced her, but nobody ever pushed her. Nobody ever nudged her. Nobody ever, challenged her to do that. And sometimes some people need a good challenge or a good push, and they need it with love, not judgment, and not out of hate or out of, well, he's your son and you need to go visit him and you need to love him and you need to, you need to. And it's just, you just don't need to do that. I just don't know how to express it. But I don't know. I don't know what I said. I don't know what in that moment snapped for my mom. I don't know. I can't tell you what made her become just aware or just we got to do this. I got to go visit my son. I don't know if it was the love that she saw that I was giving her and the questions that I was asking her. I really don't know. I don't know, but it took her almost 30, it took her 22 years of my life. And probably 30 something years of Gaspad's life for her to finally go and visit him and, you know, not plead for forgiveness, but, you know, finally just go visit him and know that he was okay, because he is being taken care of. I have like foundation on my lips, and I take off, or I don't have foundation, I have chapstick on my lips, and then whenever I put my foundation on, I take that, I usually accidentally put it on, but I love a nude lip, and this is Ofra and Verona. Ooh, I got this on a BoxyCharm. My BoxyCharm unboxing. Just kidding. If you watch Kathleen Lights, I love Kathleen Lights. She's so down to earth and gorgeous, and her eyelid space is amazing. Amazing. So sometimes I'll do eyeliner, sometimes I won't. Today I'm not doing eyeliner because usually whenever I go see my brother Jasper, I usually cry it all off because I love seeing him. And I cry like happy tears before. Before I used to cry like sad tears, and I know that that's bad, but not that I used to feel sorry for him, but I would, but now I love him. I just get so happy seeing him. So I use the It Cosmetics Superhero. Again, there's a lot of people that say I have beautiful eyelashes, and sometimes I will use falsies. However, I'm not using falsies today. Again, I get on these weird trends. I will, one time, like this year, I used falsies like for like 4 months straight. And the easiest way to put on mascara is to look down and make that weird face where you're like, yes, it's the best. I love visiting my brother, and I get super excited whenever I see him. And he's just the best. And I talk to him the way I talk to you guys, or I talk to my sister or my other brother whenever I do talk to him. And I love him, and I'm super sorry that this video has been all over the place. But like I said, like 12 of y'all wanted to see me get my makeup ready. And I didn't want this to become a makeup channel or whatever. But I find doing my makeup is super therapeutic. It is super therapeutic. And for people that don't believe in makeup, it's okay. Y'all are fine. Y'all do you, boo-boo. Y'all do you. I love doing my makeup. I turn on my TV or I put on music and I do my makeup. It's the best. And I love buying makeup. I have too much makeup sometimes. Guys, I have too much makeup. But yes. I love watching people put on makeup. I don't know why. I love watching people put on makeup. I put on black mascara on top of my eyelashes, and then for my bottom eyelashes I put on brown. So this is Tarte. Where did I get that from? So this is Tarte waterproof or sweatproof. This is sweatproof, so I guess it's the same thing. This is brown, and I put the brown because I find that the black is sometimes too harsh, if that makes sense. And the brown just is just a little bit more natural. And that is it, guys. That is it. This is basically what I look like whenever I film and I put my face on for you guys. So that's basically what I do. I'll make sure everything's blended to my neck. I don't think I told y'all that. But yes, this is it. This is it. This is the little get ready with me makeup little family secret thing. I can't wait for y'all to meet my brother. I am super excited for you all to see him and for y'all to get to know him. And I again, if you all want to have a conversation with somebody and do not know how to start it up, make it come from a loving place. Come from the most loving place that you can think of. Do not come from a judgmental place. Do not come from a place where you already have your mind made up. Come from a place where you are going to love that person, and where you don't have your again, you don't have your mind made up. You also are curious. You don't know that situation. You don't know that person's story. Come from a loving, caring place, and I promise you, as long as that person understands and knows that you're coming from a loving place, it's going to end well. And I think that once you tell them, listen, I just want to have this conversation with you, and I am just curious, and I want to know. I think that at the end of the conversation, everything will be okay, and I think that everything will work out. And I think that's what happened to my mom and I. And at the end of the conversation, we were able to make plans to go visit my brother, and everything just became so beautiful because we have a loving relationship with my brother. We're able to go see him. He is being well taken care of. I love the fact that people, the state of Texas, can take care of him. I think that the people that take care of him are so beautiful, and I'm so beyond blessed that people can take care of people like my brother. And he lives in a small home where only 4 people like him are in that home. They're all in wheelchairs. I think that places and facilities like that are important. They are super important, and people that work in those places are extremely important, and they should be taken care of, and they should be told thank you, and they should be they should not be taken for granted whatsoever. If you are a nurse, if you are a CNA, or you're LVN, if you are a caretaker, if you work in a day hab, if you work in a facility anywhere with people, with patients, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for being there for people whenever their family members can't take care of them. You are beloved, and I appreciate you. And you are not taken for granted. And if you feel like you are, I am so sorry. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. And again, I'm so sorry I'm all over the place. As always, be blessed, stay blessed, and be a blessing.